Welcome back, City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am joined by a young lady that I got to know some time ago, and she is just a breath of fresh air, an ray of sunshine to our studio. I'm being joined by none other than Tracie Halcrombe. Tracie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton, for having me.
It is a pleasure to sit down with you again, and we're here to talk about something that's very serious, and it is, we see it on the rise, I think, in our communities nowadays, but I know that you have a finger on the pulse, and you even have your own personal testimony about what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
But Joe, Tracie, before we get into that, tell us just a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Well, my name is Tracie Halcrombe, and I'm the CEO and founder of Joy Inside Tears, and that is a 501(c) nonprofit organization here. We're located at 200 East Depot Street, just in case anyone needs to know where our office is. And we offer and provide mental health and suicide prevention resources, advocacy, support, and education, the training. Now we even offer counseling to uninsured. We have a lot of different new programs. We also have coaching for mental health purposes. We do a lot of trainings with teens, adults, and we just got a lot of good stuff happening for the community in regards to mental health and suicide prevention and early intervention.
And when you talk about early intervention, are there signs of someone that may be going through those, suicidal thoughts, mental depression? Are there signs that someone, the layperson, could look and notice?
Well, there are some signs, and like I said, everybody may be different. When you're thinking about signs, it could be someone can become withdrawn, someone can be easily angered or frustrated, someone could really just tell you they're having a problem and that they want to probably take their life. People can really be different and on the spectrum of that, but the main thing is to know what to do. If someone does say anything to you that doesn't sound like themselves, if you know them personally, or to just be aware of a change in a person. It could be like weight fluctuation. You could be, you notice someone is a little bit more down if they were an upbeat person. Their physical attire changes. They used to be so adorned and sharp, and all of a sudden they just decline, and you're like, okay, something must be going on. So just subtle hints in that way. If you know a person, you would kind of know what to look for. Awesome.
Always great information. And I do have Dr. Joy Baker's going to be coming on to kind of to also share with us. But you're here today to talk about something that the community can get involved with and come out and get more information.
Yes.
And that is the Suicide and Prevention Walk that will be taking place on September the 7th. Talk about that, if you don't mind.
Well, I'll let Joy talk about the walk, because she's after me, but we are hosting our second annual Suicide Prevention Awareness event. That will be on Lafayette Square on September 7th, which is Saturday, from 5:30 to 7:30. There will be a walk that'll take place before for parental awareness, because there is a lot that's happening with the mothers or families that are having crises and ideations, and perhaps even losing their lives in those regards for postpartum. So Dr. Joy will talk about that. But we will have in our event resource coping stations for all community members. Your veteran resource, we're going to have the resources for like mothers, our families. We're going to have a lot of resources out there from public health. We're going to have just coping stations. We're going to have, I have to remember everything else, and every time I come out here, we're going to have an activity tent, so you can bring your children. An activity tent that they'll be able to do activities, while we do have some speakers for the event that'll be there. We'll have refreshments. It's just going to be a great day of hope. I'm really thrilled about the exhibit. So I'm doing an exhibit mixed into the coping stations around the circle. So it's important to me to stay on message and continue to educate. So there'll be a poster exhibit around the square, big posters that has all your statistics, quotes, information, all types of directives to get you to where you need to be if you need help or resources.
And it's so important because, a lot of times suffer in silence. People sometimes, they feel like I'm going to be okay. And I know a lot of times in the African American community, just pray about it.
Yes.
Just pray about it.
Yes.
But, sometimes just praying about it is great, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But sometimes we need some other intervention to help us to really understand what's really going on there.
No, you do.
Absolutely.
You do. You need Jesus, you need prayer, and you need medication
That's
if
right.
you need, and you need therapy.
That's right.
So we talk about that all the time. And so we're going to start it with some prayer. We're going to end it with some prayer, but in the interim of it, you'll be able to get your resources, and you'll be able to get, we're calling them coping stations because there will be specific to the community needs. And as you go around, you can read, you can educate, you can hear from some people that are educators in the field, as well as those that have can tell a little story about how they have felt and how they have overcome. It's a day of hope. And that's kind of what we want to continue to celebrate. And we have some amazing sponsors this year. We have Wellstar, which is now a partner of mine, not only a sponsor, but we have Biogen as well as a Mirror Group. Okay. So we have some pretty good dynamic people that's backing the event, and we're excited.
Very good. Timing fitting as our time just ticked off.
Yes.
We're going to bring Dr. Joy in and finish up the other portion of this because this is something that's very worthwhile, needed in our community.
I agree.
So I just want to say thank you to you and your team for coming to our community and bringing this to us as well. Okay?
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Always good to be on.
Absolutely. Tracie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you also.
All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, and never let them out of our sight.
Got it.
Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Welcome back, City Week, ladies and gentlemen. As we continue the topic on suicide prevention and the walk that will be taking place on Saturday, September the 7th, I am now being joined by a pillar of our community, Dr. Joy Baker. Dr. Baker, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It is a pleasure to sit down with you. And just like your counterpart, Tracie, you too are a ray of joy in our studio here this morning.
Well, thank you.
Well, it is awesome to have you. And Dr. Baker, you know what? I'm not going to even ask about you. Tell us a little bit about yourself because you do so much in the community. And this event is so important that I want to go ahead and get the message out about why this is so important to you. The Suicide Prevention Walk. Tell us a little bit, why are you involved with this?
So, of course, Tracie Halcrombe has been doing this walk with Joy Inside Tears for the past 2 years. Well, this year I was talking to her and I said, Tracie, we are really experiencing a huge surge of maternal deaths due to suicide and also substance use and accidental overdose. In fact, it's the #2 cause of death for moms in the state of Georgia. So I have the privilege of serving on the Maternal Mortality Review Committee for the state. So we review every single maternal death that happens in Georgia. And you just would be absolutely blown away by how many of these deaths are actually mental health related.
Wow.
So, we try to do our very best here in West Georgia, specifically for our moms when they're in the hospital. We're taking care of high blood pressure or, postpartum hemorrhages, and we're getting really good at doing that. But one place where we're really lacking is mental health awareness. And so even though we're the best we can be at the hospital and making sure moms go home safely, if they are then dying by suicide or substance overdose, then what have we really done?
That's right. That's true. The second leading cause.
Second leading cause of death in Georgia.
Wow.
So it really is a huge problem, and many times moms and families will suffer in silence because they're worried that, maybe they will be told that they're not able to parent, or someone may want to take their kids, or people might think they're crazy, and so they don't really speak up. And so then it becomes an issue of awareness and education, and really reducing the stigma around mental health conditions during pregnancy and after pregnancy. So the stroller stroll is what we're going to do.
Okay.
So I'm inviting all moms. It doesn't matter if your baby's still in the stroller or if your baby's 26 years old. You can still come out. We're going to do 8 laps around the square with our babies if you have them. And we want to also invite dads, because we know that 1 in 5 women will experience a mental health disorder during or after pregnancy, but 75% of those women's partners will also experience depression, anxiety, or other mental health disorders right along with their partner.
Oh, wow.
So it's dads too. And so we're inviting everyone to come out and talk about paternal mental health and maternal mental health, so that we can really raise awareness around this. And then after we've done our walk, our stroller stroll around the square, we'll join Joy Inside Tears to talk about suicide prevention and awareness.
Awesome. There's just so many times if you're removed from something, you don't have that knowledge about it, and to know that it's the second leading cause. Not only is the mother suffering, but the partners are suffering as well. And like you said, and we stated earlier, suffering in silence sometimes, and mental health is real.
It is definitely real. Definitely real. And we know that babies who are being parented by a mom or a dad who have untreated mental illness or mental health disorders are more likely to have problems when they get older with behavior, with forming attachments. So there can really be an issue because that mom is not really able to be present, or because that dad cannot really connect. That baby can have some problems later on in life, and so that's why it's so important to treat these disorders.
Now, at the walk, you guys are going to have the stroller. You're also going to have coping tables there to help families just to kind of understand and cope and to get information. What can they expect that day, Joy, if you don't mind?
So we'll definitely do our stroller stroll, because one of the things that helps with mental health is exercise. So we want to get out and get moving, and we also want to make connections. We want to talk about healing, and our coping stations are going to be really great because there'll be something for everybody there, not just moms and dads, but also veterans, LGBTQ plus individuals. We're going to have coping stations for folks who are elderly. So there'll be a coping station pretty much that can cater to the needs of everyone in the community. We are very fortunate to have a sponsor for the stroller stroll, Biogen, and they are the first pharmaceutical company to develop a drug that is specifically treating postpartum depression. And so this drug is showing huge promise. We're seeing relief in moms in as little as 3 days in their depressed symptoms. So this is a huge deal, and they'll be there manning our coping station for moms.
Very good. You know what? This is awesome, and I just want to say thank you, Dr. Baker. Thank you to Tracie Halcrombe, and thank you to the other volunteers and everybody that will come out to make this a success. And I know that just like in all other things, our community is going to come out and support this wholeheartedly, and most of all, to be able to get help there, and that so that they won't have to have those joy inside of tears, to be their slogan. So Dr. Baker, thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you so
today.
much. We definitely hope to see you September 7th. The stroller stroll starts at 4:30.
All right, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week coming up in just a moment.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining City Week this week. My guests have been from Joy Inside Tears, that is coupled with the Suicide and Prevention Walk that will be taking place on Saturday, September the 7th, down on the square. So make sure you come on out. My guests have been Tracie Halcrombe, and also I had on Dr. Joy Baker as they talked about the coping stations that will be there and all of the other various resources that you can take advantage of. So ladies and gentlemen, come on out and make sure that you get help so that there are no joy inside of tears. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining for City Week, and I want to invite you back always for more of City Week.